7 o'clock, Town of Granby Conservation Commission meeting Tuesday, December 8th, 2020. The time is 7 p.m. I am located at the library at Carnegie Hall with the paperwork. And the rest of the commissioners are either on telephone, computers, or some other communication through GoToMeeting. I'm going to take a roll call. My name is Ed Chatline, present. Bill Shaheen.
I'm here.
Amanda Smith. Amanda.
Amanda's on the air, but she doesn't have her mic open.
Okay. I saw her on the air earlier.
And Dave Desailly is here tonight.
Yep. I see you online.
Welcome aboard, Dave.
Thank you.
And
Patty?
Kevin,
Yes. Salinas. Linda Love. Not present.
Ed, just a point of interest. Kevin Shoemaker was going to be here today, but his daughter broke her leg. So he's down at the hospital right now. So Kevin apologizes. He was actually going to come down and help you down at the library. So next time he'll be at the library to help you out.
That'd
You
be
might put it on mute until you're ready to talk.
All right, so starting with 7 o'clock with building permit. Board of Health. Let me ask everybody out there, if you're not talking, please silence your mic. So we don't have any feedback or extra noise. I have a building permit. There's the applicant for 84 West Street online. Got here. We did receive this building permit by email from Captain Letter. I believe this is the old carrot, the Grandview Farms down near right. Bill. 84 West Street.
Yeah, let me. Wait. You didn't do the site plan on this, did you?
I do not have anything here for that site plan. I'm assuming, well, that's the one that came in by email from Kathy.
Okay. I think Amanda's here. Hello, Amanda. Okay, let me do this thing. I was going to actually try to do the documents on this computer, but I could probably multitask on this computer. Okay. Oh, hi, Amanda. Amanda, can you hear us? All right, let me go 84 West Street. Okay, now I think 84. There's a 78, which I think is in a brand new house.
Bill, is it on the north side of West Street?
Yes. Yeah. I know they carved out a couple of state lots and some regular 150-foot lots.
Yeah.
So is this proposed lot another standard 150 frontage lot?
So I believe this is to the west of the last one we permitted, which is
Okay.
even further in the drainage ditch.
Yeah, the last one that was built, I think there's two homes built out. One is 78, which I think they had some issues with the drainage ditch on the right sideline. 84, I think, may have been the first house built in that cluster. And there's two estate lots in between, two deep lots. So is this subject lot one of the deep lots?
I don't think so. From what I remember seeing as the applicant was 84 West was the smaller 150 by what, 300 foot deep.
Yeah, but the funny thing is 84 already has, it's already on Mass GIS with a street number assigned.
They're building on it.
Huh, that's
So is
odd.
that a photo?
Yeah, let me check the owner. Stand by.
I believe 84 is the lot in between the two built houses already.
Yes.
Oh, it is, okay. All right, so Mass GIS is incorrect then.
Mr. Chairman, Kevin Brooks, this is right across from the cemetery. And there is the initial house that was built on the east side. There's 2 estate lots, and now there is a vacant 150-foot frontage lot. There has been some activity down there, and then there is the 84 to the west of that. So I think you got it figured.
Okay, all right, 86 already has a home on it, right, Kev?
That's correct.
Okay, so 84 is listed as a street number, even though it doesn't have a house on it. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good then. So, do we have a site plan for that project?
The only thing that was sent was by email, and I don't have anything here. Let me check this one folder here.
Yeah, let me, because I've got all the documents that Kathy has sent along. And let me take a look. I've got, let's see, a site plan review. I got the 121 West State. I've got 56 Harris. I got 163 Bachelor. I got 134 South. I have 139 East. That's all I have. Yeah, that's it.
I don't have any paper copies of that stuff. We're just.
Oh, here it is. I got it. I've got it. 84 West Street. I got it right here. It's a building permit app. There's probably a hand sketch. Let me take a look at the hand sketch. It's actually a septic design. Boy, it's hard to read. Donnie Frederick did the design. It looks as though the leach field's in the front yard, then the house, and then the wells in the back. There appears to be no earthwork, Ed and Amanda, and Dave, no earthwork further than, I would say, 100 feet from the front property line. And I guess the owner is Philip Brasset. Is that correct?
Any wetland issues?
I don't see any. I don't see any. Amanda? I don't see any problems.
Amanda said she's having problems with her mic.
Okay. Amanda, sometimes you might have to reboot the system. If your mic isn't working, log out, then log back in, and sometimes it will pop in. I've had that problem before.
So, Bill, do you want to make a motion to approve?
Yeah, I don't think there's any problems here. Again, I know the site well enough. I move that we approve this as submitted.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to one here, 67 South Street, 67 South Street.
Eva Jengres is here. Can you guys hear me?
I can. Are you the applicant for 67 South Street?
Yes, I am.
Bill, do we have any paperwork on this? Sent by.
I do not, but I know the property. It's about 4 houses to the south of me. Dave, it's 3 houses south of you. It's next to, yeah, it's next to,
Silsby's?
yeah, it's next to
Yeah.
Silsby. It's between Silsby's and Wordsworth's old house, yes.
Familiar with it.
Yeah, I know of no wetland in that vicinity. Ma'am, where's your septic system going on the property?
In the back of the house.
Okay, how far behind the house?
Oh, pretty far.
Well, do you have a plan for us?
Well, you guys have the plan. I did submit it.
Okay, let's see if we can find it then.
Okay.
Bill, you want to look on the computer for that?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold on 1 second. Okay, this is a different project. I'm looking in all the documents that Kathy forwarded. I cannot seem to find it. Dave, can you find it in your stuff?
No, I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. I don't know if she sent anything out.
Yeah,
I did. I had the well put in a couple weeks ago too.
yeah.
Is the house staked out? On the
Yes,
ground?
yes.
Well was put in?
I
Is
think
this
they've
something-
already dug the cellar hole, but again, the leach field, I have a feeling is hundreds of feet behind the house.
Oh, yeah, hundreds of, it's way on the bottom.
Yeah, so that might warrant a look-see.
Has this septic been approved by the Board of Health?
Yes.
So Bill, I don't know what you want to do. If you and
Yeah,
Dave.
could you, ma'am, Ms. Gingras, could you possibly email us that document right now? Is that possible?
The septic, right?
Yes, please.
Yes, I will find it and email it to whom?
If you can do it in the next 10 minutes or so, you can send it to myself.
And what is your email?
I'll give you my short email. It's N, the number 1, C is in Charlie, Q is in Quebec. So it's Nancy 1, Charlie Quebec at Comcast.net.
Okay, NICQ@comcast.net.
No, not I, it's 1. Get rid of the I. It's
Oh,
number
1.
1. Yes, please.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm
we can-
glad
Oh, no, that's good. And we can revisit that. So Ed, why don't you go forward and we'll revisit Ms. Gingras when she sends it through.
so I'm gonna have to get off the line with you guys and then come back on? I never did
unless-
this before.
Oh, yeah, unless you have 2 computers. I don't know how you're set up there.
No, I'm on the phone.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. If you want to do that, we're here till about 7:30 on this stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna try to find it and email. I know you guys have it because you did approve it.
So,
Okay. Well, thank you, ma'am. Yeah, send that along, please. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
No, I only have 2 building permits here, 84 and 67. I have nothing else listed. You said there was a bunch of stuff that Kathy sent over for building permits?
Let me see. Hold on.
I
No,
think she sent over NOIs.
I've got 84 west, 67 south, and then we go right to appointments and public hearings at 7:30.
right.
But we could actually go to administrative stuff, Ed, for the next few minutes until Ms. Chambers gets her stuff together.
Do that. Is there anybody else out there with a building permit at the on-site on the go-to meeting app? Board of Health permits. Building permits. Anyone else on go-to meeting? Okay, not hearing that, we'll go to administrative duties, so we can kind of move forward. Item 1 is commentary. Bill, do you have any commentary?
Yeah, again, I'd just like to welcome Dave Desalet and Kevin Shoemaker for coming aboard. We certainly need reinforcements, and we have 2 capable additions to the team, so welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Good, thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Going on to item 2. Anybody else want to do any commentary? Amanda? No? Okay. All right, so next meeting. We haven't, we forgot to, sometime during the past 2 meetings, we're supposed to generate our yearly meetings. So approve them. So just off the cuff here. What, Bill, you're in front of a computer. Can you tell me what the, I guess the second Tuesday in January is?
Yep, stand by. Well, it happens to be my birthday. How about that? January 12th. You'll have to bake a cake for me, you guys. Yep, January 12th. Lucky everybody.
January 12th.
Okay, excuse me, Mr. Sheehan, I just forward you the email with the
Oh,
subject.
okay. Okay, ma'am. Okay, stand by, please.
Okay, thank you.
Let's finish this one item. So we're going to post the next meeting for January 12th at 7 p.m. Any motion on that?
A motion to approve.
Thank you. Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Well, I'm guessing by January 12th, we'll still be in this situation where it's by teleconference. Okay. Eva's back online. Bill, did you get
Yes.
the?
Yeah, I do. It's an Al Weiss design. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a peek. Stand by. Yeah, it looks like it's well back toward the rear of the property. So I'm gonna have to look at a page 2 of the design.
Can you guys hear me now?
Oh yeah,
I can, Amanda.
I got you, Amanda. Hi.
Great. Okay.
Very good. Okay, stand by, please. Okay, it looks as though about roughly, it's around 200 feet behind the house. And then the house is probably, again, I'm just guessing this, another 100 feet. So it's probably 300. It's probably 400 feet off the edge of the pavement to the leach field out back. And it's way down the slope. Amanda, do you have Mass GIS available, please?
Yes, but I don't know which site you guys are looking at now.
Okay, we're looking at 67 South, which does not exist. So if you go to 65 South and then go one lot to the south of that, that will be the subject lot. It's a
Okay.
deep lot. Again, I know there's swamp out back, but I think this is still obviously in the open field. So this should not be a problem.
Yeah, I don't see any issues.
Okay. Actually, Al included a snapshot of the Mass GIS wetlands overlay, so I agree. I think we're good there. So, Ms. Gingras, I think you're good to go with your project.
With my building permit now.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I move that we approve 67 South with no additional conditions.
Second. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. So am I all set now with you guys?
Yes, you are, ma'am.
Okay, have a good night, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, back on to administrative duties. Any other building permits out there? None? So item 3, administrative duties, approve minutes. Amanda, do we have any minutes or Bill? I know it's kind of hard to approve them without visually seeing them.
I believe I sent it out after our last meeting.
Yeah, Amanda sends them out, Ed.
Okay,
I
I'm
sent them
sorry.
out like right after.
I don't recall seeing them, but that's, you probably did send them. They probably just got mixed up with other stuff. And either I glanced at it or just slipped my mind. Any issues with it, Bill, on the minutes?
Again, I haven't reviewed it either, Ed. I'm delinquent on that as well.
You want to postpone the,
Question for the new guy here. Are the minutes different than the agenda
yes,
that Kathy Leonard sends out?
correct.
They are.
A little more detailed than what we discussed.
Yeah. Amanda, could you add my name to the list of minute receivers?
Yes, yes, I will.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Item 4, bills to pay. I did not go through the folder yet. This looks like our correspondence, but the correspondence sometimes has the bills.
Ed, believe it or not, Kathy sent us an electronic financial statement, which was nice.
Yeah, I saw that too. It was just recently. I did see that. I do have that here. So
That's a new wrinkle. That's good.
I don't have any bills in this correspondence. Does anybody have any bills that need to be paid for Conservation Commission? I know I got other bills, but. No, okay. If somebody just does, or if I find one, we'll go back to it. So like Bill said, item number 5, financial accounts update quarterly. I do have here an updated quarterly statement, and I did see that Kathy sent out email the quarterly, or the fiscal report for year 2021, it says. So I'm in receipt of a 2-page document, page 21 and 22, fiscal year 2021, and it is dated 12/02/2020.
Ed, the thing that caught my eye is that they set up the 4453G accounts right in there, so we can keep tabs on those as well.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Very nice. Yeah, that wasn't in there before, was it?
No,
I like that. Very, somebody's on the ball. So I just marked it received today, and we'll put that with our other financial package if I can find the folder, but I don't know what that folder is. It's not in the pack, but we'll figure that out. We mark it received. Outreach education plant of the week.
well, actually, we did have a plant of the week. I think it's called, Emily, are you on board? Hello, Emily.
Yes, Bill, I'm here.
Emily, Emily, welcome to the group. Ed, this is Emily Stockman. She's our technical wetlands peer reviewer. And I had a question on a particular site. What was the plant, Emily? Was it gallium?
Yeah, it looks like what you had submitted to me when I zoomed in was the Gallium beluga, or the wild matter, which is an introduced species, typically in upland environments.
Okay, that's all we need to know. Thank you for your rapid input on that. And Amanda concurred as well. So we're in good shape there. Thank you so much.
Nice.
You're welcome.
So that's it. We try to have this plant of the week from time to time, particularly during the growing season, but it's always great fun to have a plant to chit chat about over the winter months as well. At least reminds us that spring is around the corner at some point. Okay. Okay, we got 3 minutes to 7:30, Ed.
Yeah. I guess I'll go through the ZBAs and planning board stuff after. So we
Okay.
can push this administrative duties back, and we'll go back to that, the ZBAs.
I do have a quick old business thing to mention. The Chris Bro and Carissa Bro project, their order of conditions. Bill, Ed, and Patty were the ones who approved it, and only Bill has signed it. And they've been trying to get it to the registrar. So that they can then continue with the next step of closing it out, because the project is actually complete at this point. And they have been reaching out often to try and get that. I have not heard from Patty at all.
Wasn't it the one I signed last week?
If you signed it, that's awesome. So that's good. It would be, yes.
And then I thought I sent it back to you as an attachment. I could take a look.
I'll double check.
Bill signed it electronically, and then I added I signed and scanned my signature onto that page.
Okay, well, that's great. That means we're only missing Patty.
Yeah, I believe that's true. That's this right here. That was in the correspondence. We can go back to that just to look at it again. Okay, so
I do see that now.
yeah, so I think we're just missing Patty somehow. If either we can print it at Kathy's place, and then either if she can sign it, or we have to mail it to Patty, I guess. I don't know, with a return envelope. Even just that one.
She just hasn't responded.
You reached out to Patty. She hadn't responded, Amanda?
Yeah, I tried our group text and also emailing. I emailed it a couple times to her.
Okay, I'll try her by telephone tomorrow,
Okay.
and I'll have her call you directly.
Could we have another commissioner sign as a out of necessity? Even though Patty, Amanda hasn't heard the meeting, out of necessity.
I don't know.
Maybe we should talk to Mark Stenson about that, if some other member can sign out of necessity.
What do we need? One more signature?
Yeah, just the third person who approved it.
Okay.
Who was Patty. I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, that's the dilemma. It would be unfair to ask David or Amanda to sign off on a project they're totally unfamiliar with.
That's good. Yeah, no, I know. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to move it along.
Of course.
7:31. Appointments and public hearings. Now, item 1 is a request for certificate completion at 6 Phillips Circle. I thought we had gone over this, And we had approved the certificate, didn't we? At 6 Phillips Circle?
I believe we did.
Yeah. Is it a matter of type generating that form?
Yes.
What's the form we needed?
It's Form
You have a
8B.
form number?
8B.
Bravo. Anybody want to volunteer to fill that out? I'll take a shot at it. Because we got to get this
Very
out.
good. That's good, Ed.
Certificate of
8B.
compliance.
Yeah, WPA 8B.
And it was a full release?
Yeah, you could do a conditional, but I think full release would be appropriate on this.
Yeah. I'll send it around by PDF before I,
That's good, yeah, and I'll sign it electronically and just re-forward it. That'll be fine. Thank you.
request certificate of compliance, 16 Aldridge Street. I think this is the same issue. This is the one overlooking the old the dam that broke there, just near Amherst Road.
That's
Same thing.
Marioni.
Right. we
Whose
approved
home is that,
That's the one
Kev?
with
It's Jody Marioni.
that's the one with the shed.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
they
discussed it. We approved that last time.
That was not issued either? The certificate of compliance?
Yeah, it was a certificate of compliance they needed. That dates
right.
back to 2009.
That's right. They need an 8B, and then they've got another project forthcoming.
Well, that was for the shed.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll try to tackle that in the interim. I'll take care of those two, 1 and 2 for next meeting. Try to get that pushed out to everybody as a PDF.
Good, thank you, Ed.
Enforcement order at 53 Porter Street, item number 3.
Yeah, Dan Nitschy's here.
Sure.
Dan, I
Bill, how you
apologize. You sent me some correspondence, I think, 3 weeks ago on that. And could
Yes.
you read your bullet points again?
Certainly.
Yeah, but-
Yeah, it was on November 16th. I sent it, draft restoration plan, item 1. Use shovels to remove accumulated sediment from the wetland and use a wheelbarrow or other non-mechanical means to relocate the sediment to a non-jurisdictional area. 2, have a wetland consultant observe the sediment removal, including photo documentation of the work. And 3, provide the commission with a brief observation report on December 8th, which was the objective for the restoration activities.
Okay, I had 2 comments on that, and I think Amanda and Ed might have a comment as well. I would really like, actually, and this is being somewhat picky, but I'd like the material moved off-site, physically off-site. Okay. And number 2 is, I know there's some plants that have been disturbed. I'm guessing that the plants are going to come back in full force next year, but I think we would like to at least observe 1 growing season for the plant rejuvenation.
So what do you want? You want like in June, take another look?
Yeah, June or July. Let's take another look. So you'll do a site visit during the remedial activity, then we'll put the project on hold until the middle of summer. And once that is deemed okay, then we can sign a letter of release, if you will, to you guys, okay?
Okay. That
Okay.
sounds good.
Amanda and Ed, any comments from you guys on this?
That's reasonable. That's reasonable.
Amanda?
Yep, that seems fine to me.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Dan.
Great. Thank you, folks.
You're welcome. know, I found if you're getting feedback, if you turn your audio level down a couple of notches, you can reduce that feedback quite a bit.
Okay, moving on then, item 1 at 7:30, NOI filed by Eugene and Susan Boardway for proposed repair to an on-site septic system for an existing single-family house and proposed new well within 50-foot buffer zone with regards to property located at 163 Bachelor Street, known as map 10-38 in the town of Granby. So, we have the representative for 163 Bachelor Street.
Yes, Kevin Brooks. The current, this is a house that's been there for many years. The system is probably on the order of 40 to 50 years old, and it's in hydraulic failure. They've been to the Board of Health, and the Board of Health checked off conservation. That's why we're here, because we're fairly close to the Lane Brook, and after Pine Brook enters the stream. So it's right at the head of North Street, and where you got to go right on Bachelor or left on Bachelor. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the only problem, Kevin, your submittal, you had item 5 as a site plan. It was not included in the package.
Oh yeah, I had two of these in the submission.
I'll open it again. So it says item 5 site plan, and the last thing I have is the abutters list, and that's it.
This still is a site plan right here.
Yeah, there it is. Ed's got it.
Yeah, we didn't get it in our email.
No, it didn't come by email.
No, but we were supposed to get scans of everything.
Oh my goodness.
That's how we work from home.
That's right. Ed, could you maybe hold it up to the camera really close? Oh, boy.
The blue line is the wetland line. That's Lane Brook. And the system, and then the hash marked is the silt fence. And the system is up right tight to the house, the replacement system. And then over to the left of the plan is where the proposed new well will go. It's right on Bachelor Street. The current well is in the front yard.
Ed, can you see this? I can't see a blessed thing.
Sorry about that, Bill. Yeah, it's rather difficult. So, Bill, as I come up North Street and I have to take a left onto Bachelor or right onto Bachelor, this is straight ahead.
Right.
So this is located directly behind the house.
Mm-hmm.
Is the system already staked out on the ground, Kevin?
That's a good question. Last time I was there, no, it was not staked on the ground. But that can be done.
Do you guys want to do a site visit on this to get this thing moving? Or?
Well, this would make good sense. It would make good sense to do the site visit when the thing's staked out, and you can do it and just do it once and be done with it.
Want to have the silt fence put in too before? Put the silt fence in as shown on the plan?
Can do.
Yeah, Kev, when are they going to break ground for the septic repair?
Well, they've been pushing for this for almost a year now. So it's the system is still functioning apparently, but not greatly. So yeah, we can get the silt fence up.
And
Yeah, why don't we table this, Ed, and do a site visit in the meantime?
Now you've got DEP comments and there were none. All they did is assign a the file number. That's the one I asked you about, Bill.
All right. Ed, is there any way you could take a picture of that document with your cell phone and send it?
Let me try.
Okay, thank you.
Might lose you guys, so I'm gonna put you.
Okay, thanks, Ed. That's good. Frozen in time.
Okay, I'll,
Okay, Kev, so who's going to be doing the repair work?
I want to say Greg Everson, but I'm not positive that it's been in the flux, you know. It could be
Okay,
Mary,
so they're not firmly under contract then?
not that I know of. See,
Okay.
Gene Bordway works for Marion.
Marion Construction?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm waiting for Ed to send this
So
down.
I'm suspicious that they might be doing the system, so
Well, of course, that makes good sense. Actually.
okay, Bill, I just sent it out by a group text. Do you want me to try the email system instead, or?
Yeah, if you could email it to me directly, it'd be better because then I can bring it up on the computer. Otherwise, my
All right,
cell phone has a 1x1 screen, which is probably about the same as what we're doing right now. Refresh.
the design was done
All right,
by
just-
RF Sheehan, stamped by Bob LeMaitre.
Okay.
So you have it by text and email.
Okay. Kev, where's the water table out back there?
It's not way down, Bill. The elevation of the brook is like 93, and that's probably, it might be 92 and a half, but it's pretty close to the top of the bank there.
Okay, I got it. Now, Kev, is that stream perennial or is it an intermittent stream?
On this particular map, the Mount Holyoke Range map, everything is shown as perennial, whether it is or not. And this one in particular, I think, is a perennial because it comes from, it's Lane Brook and then also fed by Pine Brook.
Now, on the septic design, I'm seeing a bunch of lettered boxes. I'm seeing A, B, C, D, E. What are these?
Okay. A is a benchmark.
Yeah.
B is the dwelling, the 3-bedroom dwelling.
Okay.
C is the location of the new 1,500-gallon 2-compartment tank.
Okay.
Let's see. D, of course, is the garage. E is the driveway. F is the existing septic tank, which is just above C. That make sense, William?
Yeah. Oh, I see. And number 2 is the leach field. That's the proposed leach field.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I see. They're abandoning their well and they're putting a well out back. I got you.
Way out in the corner, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So realistically, they're doing as much as they can to alleviate the setback off the brook. Okay.
Up the brook. It's a small lot. It's only 0.49
Okay.
acres.
Okay. From what I'm seeing, I'm good with that. Amanda, any comments?
I have no additional comments.
So Bill, what do you want to do? Do you want to, David, I'm sorry, Dave, do you have any comments?
Dave, you have to open your mic, please.
I'm here. I'm looking at the same document that Ed sent around, so everything looks, as you're saying, it's a tiny lot, and there's an estate lot right behind it.
Yes.
Okay.
But it looks like they're working within the parameters that they have.
Yep. And Kevin, what are you going to use for silt control?
We had proposed a silt fence with staked hay bales, straw bales.
Okay. Yeah, because it's a fairly steep site, and I think it's probably better than using wattles on a site like that.
Yep.
Okay, that makes
Yep.
good sense. Okay. I'm good with it. I still think we should do a site visit, but I think we can approve conditionally based on the result of the site visit.
In the meantime, I'll get the silt fence up.
Okay, fair enough.
Do you want to close it out, Bill? You want to make a motion?
Yeah, why don't we close it out, but it'll be, again, conditional upon approval at the site visit.
Okay.
Are you
So we're
guys
not
good
gonna
with
take-
that?
we're-
I am, yeah.
Motion to close public hearing.
I'll make a motion that we approve it subject to approval after the site visit.
I'll second it.
Second? Yep, Dave seconded it.
I'm okay with that. I mean, it sounds like we're on the same path that, by the next meeting, it should be approved, I'm guessing, barring any unforeseen issues at the site. All in favor?
Aye.
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 So we'll go ahead and move out to the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kev. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right. Item number 2.
Okay.
Moving on, guys. Item number 2, NOI filed by Alfred Martin for proposed repair on-site septic system with retaining wall and associated grading in a buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland. Site is located at 56 Fourth Street, known as map 13-3-19 in the town of Granby. So, do we have anybody, a representative for 53
Yes,
Porter Street?
Yep.
Sorry.
Jack, J&P Engineering Services.
Hi, Neil, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Ed, just quickly, hi, Neil. How are you doing?
Good, how you doing, Bill?
Yeah, good, good. Ed, I'm going to recuse myself. I have a business relationship with Neil's septic designer, so I'm going to recuse myself and step away for a bit, okay?
Okay, sounds
Okay,
good.
thank you. Okay, thanks. Very good. Good to see you, Neil.
Thank you.
Make a presentation?
Yep, okay, so it's a system, repair of a failed septic system. The current septic is in the water table. The house is being sold. It's really, at this point, the only place the system can go with the well location. Board of Health approved the system as designed. We meet the 100-foot setback from the well to the septic system. We meet the 100-foot offset to the pump chamber and the septic tank. We are 50 feet away from the closest wetland flag. The retaining wall is to minimize any grading inside the 100-foot buffer zone. It's a wall with a 10-foot off the system with 40 mil polyethylene instead of the 3-to-1 slope for breakout.
Okay. So, I guess let me go through this real quick. We've got a letter here dated from DEP dated December 1st, 2020. We have been assigned for this project DEP number 165-0 0345. That's the application, or the DEP number rather. The file number indicates that the application contains the minimal submittal requirements is administratively complete. Not that the information in the application is adequate for issuance of an order of conditions. So further on, this is issued by Mark Stinson. So he goes, although the file number is being issued, please note the following. And he's addressing this to the commissioners and the applicant, I believe. Item 1, was a stream crossing and clearing on the east side of the stream permitted by the commission? It is unclear when that activity occurred, but it does not appear to have occurred sometime after 1971. The first Mass DEP file number for Granby was issued in November 1972. Item 2, per 310 CMR 10.53, section 1, where a buffer zone has already been developed, issuing authority may consider the extent of existing development in its review of subsequent proposed work, and where prior development is extensive, may consider measures such as the restoration of natural vegetation adjacent to a resource area to protect the interest of the Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40. If you have any questions regarding this letter, please contact Mark Stinson, and he gives a phone number. He CC'd the Granby Conservation Commission and Representative J&P Engineering, Mountain Dew Drive, Belchertown. So 1971 is a little before my time. So I have not done, or I don't think anybody in the commission has done any research whether that was permanent or not. I'm not sure what he's talking about. I think there was a bridge or some kind of bridge crossing a stream bed or stream. Amanda, could you, is this something that you could take a look at on Google Earth?
Where was that document that you were just reading from Mr. Stinson?
From Mass DEP, it's just the issuance of the number, and on the bottom.
I guess I didn't get it.
He talks about 2 issues that he sees, and he's advising the commission to take a look at those 2 items.
Well, the first one was, it looks like there's a shed or something in the northeast corner.
Yeah, there's actually a big barn at the top of the hill. So
Yeah, so that's what he's talking about, is that area of development.
So this is off the area of the septic system.
yeah, it's nowhere
Yeah.
near the septic system.
No, the issue is that it's just a buffer zone area that was developed without a permit, basically, previously.
71.
You done yours?
I don't know, I didn't get to read that document, so I just picked up what you just read, because I don't have a copy of that. But it sounds like he's suggesting that he can't tell the exact date that work was done, but that it was after the Wetland Protection Act. That was what I heard just now,
Okay.
from my understanding of what you just read.
I'm not sure the exact date. I thought it was the late 60s, but our first file number in Granby was issued in 1972. I think prior to 72, we didn't have a commission. And that would have been Mass Department of Environmental Quality Engineering. So it's not totally different department, but it's yeah. It predates all of us probably here, maybe except Kevin. Kevin, you remember those days?
Now, you're really dating me, Ed. I didn't get on until 74.
You're probably in the Navy still then.
But I think that Freddie Martin's place was in existence then.
An older place. So, okay. So any other commissioner want to have any questions for the applicant?
I don't.
Amanda?
Nope.
Okay. Anyone out on go to meeting teleconference in the general public have any questions, comments, concerns? So, yes, man, I'm looking to you as far as what, on the advice of these two items, how does that affect the application of the NOI for the septic repair or construction?
Could you read the second one? The second,
Item 2, per 310 CMR 10.531, where a buffer zone has already been developed, the issuing authority may consider the extent of existing development in its review of subsequent proposed work, and where prior development is extensive, may consider measures such as the restoration of natural vegetation adjacent to a resource area to protect the interests of Master Law, Chapter 131, Section 40. So, my take on it, because the work is outside and it's probably done without a permit, that that would be subject to, I don't know, if an enforcement order or a restoration prior to issuing a repair system. I don't know if that's what he's talking about, because that opens up a whole different can of worms.
yeah, I think he was kind of hinting that in lieu of doing a enforcement, just having additional conditions to provide some additional protection to those areas.
Okay.
As we see fit. He just raised it, really. I think it is up to us in the end.
Okay. On this. Amanda, can you hear me?
Oh, no, I can't.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
A little bit.
Okay. So, I was asking you if you want to do a site visit on this. This seems a little more complicated there, or there's some issues that are underlying issues that we need to look at and then address.
That would be a good idea.
Sure. Amanda?
Sorry, there's like interference that keeps coming in, so you keep going quiet.
What, do you want to do a site visit?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess I'll make a motion to do a site visit and we'll continue rather to the next meeting.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea.
In the
Hey, Ed.
meantime, is this something that you could approve pending the site visit? This house is currently sold. And I think what Mark Stinson's talking about is nowhere really near any of the proposed work.
Understood. But
The
I
barn
think,
in question is very far away from the wetlands.
Yeah, it's nowhere near it. It's
Well,
150, at
he's
least
talking
100.
about multiple things. He's talking about the existing lawn space that goes all the way up to the resource area. That's also what he's referring to. And the crossing.
we could put
So
a
the
concept.
driveway,
So I think this is a little different than the last one we just looked at. It's seeing how we have these comments from DEP. So I guess I'm not comfortable approving it right now till we see the site. I mean, it's gonna get approved eventually. It's just how we approve it and what the language is for that approval.
Agreed.
You know, the house has to have a septic system. It's pre-existing. There's no doubt about it. It's gonna get fixed. What language we put in the notice of intent afterwards, whether we put a deed restriction on a certain area, or, you know, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna go as well. We have to go into conference with DEP and see what avenues we should be looking at, if any, there may not be anything to do at this point. So,
Yeah, I just think we should do our due diligence, especially since Mark did give us those comments.
yes. So Neil, that's what we're gonna do. We'll continue to the next meeting, on January 12th. And, go from there. Excuse me. Any other questions, Neil?
No, I just feel that it's a totally separate issue and it really doesn't have anything to do with what our proposed work. I mean, if it was something that was done previously, certainly that you have options of requiring maybe less mowing near the wetlands, but it's still, I don't feel this has anything to do with what we're proposing.
Well, after we approve the NOI, we have nothing, it'd be under enforcement at that point if we had nothing to come back on. You know, so under this note of intent, we can make the special requirements. You know, maybe versus no mowing within 50 feet of the wetland or 20 feet of the wetland, something like that. So that's the only time we can do it. Other than that, we'd have to do an enforcement order if it was that serious. So, but we're just going to the advice of DEP, and I think it'd be prudent to follow their suggestions at this time. Anything else? I mean, we'll continue to the next meeting of January 12th, 7:30. In the meantime, we'll do a site visit. Like 6 Harris Street to see what the DEP is talking about. All right. Thank you. Item 3. Okay. Amanda, do you have item 3 in front of you listed?
One sec, I was just finishing typing up that last exchange. Next. 121 West State Street.
Yeah, 121 West Street. I'm going to recuse myself on this one. I sent a.
Okay.
So Bill or Amanda can read this in.
Yeah, Amanda, why don't you read it into the record and we can move forward on it. Number 3, please.
I sent a letter of conflict of interest to the town clerk, and so I'll recuse myself. Thank you.
Okay. So 7:30 RDA filed by Properties Plus LLC, Stephen Marion, agent to see whether boundaries are accurately delineated and the work depicted on plans and or maps referenced are subject to the Wetlands Protection Act, or with regards to property located at 121 West State Street and known as Map 3, Lot 1, Plan 246, page 125, parcel 8.2 in the town of Granby.
Okay, Steve? Hello, Steve, open your mic, please. Yes, there you go. How are you?
Can you hear me okay?
Good. Yes, we're good. Yep. Go ahead. State your project and we can follow up.
I can,
Okay. What? All right.
Kevin, are you representing them?
yes, I am.
Okay, Go ahead, Kev.
All right.
Okay, this is the property next to Finn's Hill to the north, formerly owned by Bill Porter. And what Steve is proposing is a 100-foot by 49-foot storage building to be built across the parking lot from the existing building. No overhead doors to be located on the side of the building closest to the resource area. Now, the resource area is located to the, to the north of the proposed building. And what you have here is two large mowings, one to the north, one to the south. The mowing to the south is the dry mowing, if you will. And the one to the north has a stream on the westerly side of it that overflows periodically and goes downhill into the hayfield. It dries up in the summer. This time of year, it's probably a little wet. The total area of the slab is located in the 100-foot buffer zone, and it's 2,034 square feet, and will be 57 feet from the resource area. The parking lot on 3 sides of the structure is proposed to be hard packed gravel. The sedimentation barrier is proposed to be located between the resource area and the extend southeasterly toward the existing gravel parking lot. And I know plans were submitted to the commission. Whether you got them there or not,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I got them at 10 o'clock this morning, but I did do a fairly thorough review, Kev. And
Okay,
actually, I visited the site yesterday. I did a little walk around on site yesterday as
good,
well.
good. Thank you.
Amanda, did you get a chance to look at this plan set?
I glanced at it briefly earlier today.
Okay, yeah, that's the set that I had sent out. Just a couple of comments on the project, Kev. It was clear the delineation looks, again, the wetland's a pretty abrupt boundary there, so I had no issue with that. That plant that actually was plant of the week, that gallium, that was actually taken from that site. That was the only plant that I thought that had of some interest in the field. And I trust that field is probably mowed on a regular basis.
It
And of
is.
course, the plant is an upland plant, so that's not a problem at all. Normally, I'd have comments on the stormwater management, but I guess planning board's taking care of that with Ed. They're working on that part of it. So I'm not going to opine on the stormwater management at all.
Steve has been to the planning board.
Okay.
It's my understanding. And I don't know how that meeting went or what was proposed, Steve.
Yeah, I had the initial meeting with planning board, and they were just going a few other revisions, nothing that was an issue with this conservation portion of it. They just wanted me to provide some other documentation just on the general build for the next upcoming meeting.
You know, Steve, just as a comment, you clearly don't want to generate a lot of runoff on this site. You've got about a half an acre of impervious between your hard pack and your roof of your building. So you've got a lot of impervious. You don't want to generate a ton of impervious and cause problems down in the gravel drive of the main building set.
Sure.
See what I'm saying? Yeah. And clearly you don't want ice to form and you don't want folks to slip on the ice. That's what I'm driving at. So pay special attention to your runoff when you build out this property. Very important.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion in regards to that to make sure
Okay,
we don't run into further issues.
Okay. So again, I've been on site. Amanda, I trust you haven't had a chance to do a site visit yet?
I have not.
Okay. And Dave, I trust you haven't been there either.
No, I have not.
Okay. So Kev, I think Amanda and Dave, you'd like to maybe get a chance to do a site visit here?
I could do a walkthrough pretty easily, yes.
Okay, Amanda?
I drive pretty often, and I mean, my only issues would have been the stormwater stuff, but if that's already being taken care of, then I guess I don't have any particular issues.
Okay. Kevin, one thing that we normally don't do, we don't normally lock in boundaries on an RDA. We would approve it as a -3 for the work, but we would not lock in the boundaries. We normally do that under a ANRAD ORAD set.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine.
All right.
Yep.
So again, if Dave and Amanda are okay with approving it tonight, I'd be happy to entertain that.
I'm open to that. Yep, conditional approval.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we'll do, Kev, what I would propose then is, Steve, when do you want to start construction?
Now.
Well, to be quite honest with you, I've contracted Associated Builders, and they were hoping to be able to work through the winter there. So there was a little bit of a time crunch. I was pretty much just had to be seen with you guys in planning board, and they're going to try to put the foundation as soon as they can get permission.
Okay.
So that was actually my next question, because we already did drop off the building permit to the inspector, and he said, make sure just go to conservation and planning board. And amongst that, he had said I needed to get a sign off on the permit. So how do I go about that with one of you?
Well, I think the way we've been doing it with COVID is I'll make a telephone call, pending approval tonight to Greg Briggs by telephone and just give him a verbal.
Okay. All right. That was
Okay.
the only other question I had in regards to that.
Okay.
Now, worthy of note and of some interest to the commission, Kim Maziak is very much involved with this project. Former member of the Conservation
Yeah.
Commission. So.
Okay, good. Well, again, what I would suggest then, and again, Dave wants to do a site walkthrough, so we'll essentially propose to approve conditionally on David's approval when he does the walkthrough.
Okay.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
I'll do it tomorrow.
All right. So what I'll do, Dave, is I'll wait to talk to Greg Briggs until I hear from you.
Okay.
When
Okay,
do
so-
you want to do it, Dave?
Can I do it tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Like 10 o'clock, 11
10
o'clock?
o'clock. Yep.
Is that fine? Great.
Yep. I'll meet you there.
All right,
Yeah,
great.
it's all
Thank you,
staked
Kevin.
out. It's an easy walkthrough.
Yeah, I
Okay.
did.
Oh, what
Okay.
10 a.m. we said, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. I might swing by too.
Okay.
Amanda's gonna come too?
Yeah, why not?
Good. Excellent. Very good.
All right,
Excellent.
great.
Good. Okay, so I'm going to move then that we approve this as a -3 buffer zone project, subject to tomorrow morning site visits. And again, pending the results of those site visits, I can relay the information to Mr. Briggs.
Okay, great.
Okay, guys, so motion on the table?
Did you say -3 or -2?
Yes. -3.
-3.
Yep.
Okay. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's it. You're done.
All right. I appreciate that. And so at this point, I just got to follow up with Mr. Briggs after,
Yes,
after you
yes.
do.
Yep, that's good, Steve. Good luck with the project. Yep.
All right. Thanks for your
The
time.
ground is frozen, and I think, like you say, Associated does a good job. They can probably get that foundation in a week or so, so it'll be excellent for you.
Yeah. No, that's great. All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Okay, well done. Okay, thank
Good.
you. Good to help.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Ed, are you back? There he is. Okay, sir.
Item number 4, 730 RDA filed by Raymond Sherrick to see whether the work depicted on plans and/or maps referenced are subject to the Wetlands Protection Act or Municipal Wetlands Ordinance or bylaw in the town of Granby with regards to property located at 68 Harris Street, known as map 13B in the town of Granby. 68 Harris Street. Do we have a representative for 68 Harris Street? Representative for 68 Harris Street? The owner for 68 Harris Street? Okay, so
Ed, didn't we already approve this last meeting?
I'm gonna pull up the minutes right now.
yeah,
Okay.
please do.
And the reason I say that is I got a phone call from the septic installer, and I actually did a site visit on this about 5 days ago. And he had his silt fence in. He hasn't excavated at all, but he put his silt fence in. This is the one, I think, Mike Petrus did the delineation, and Mike
Yeah.
Petrus was at our last meeting.
You are correct. Let me take a look at the old
That's
minutes.
right, yeah, Mike Petrus did the work for Bobby Sheehan and Bob LeMay. So we already approved this.
Yes, you made a motion, Ed second, all in favor, -3.
Negative,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yep,
All right,
that's what
so
I-
that's done.
Does this require paperwork to clear this?
I'm not sure.
I suspect it needs a -3 sign off. An RDA or DOA form 2.
Okay, you're right, Bill. That's correct.
Okay, no worries.
Item number 5, notice of intent filed by applicant N-Star Electric, DBA Eversource, owner Eversource right away. Proposed replacement of 47 structures.
Okay, this is Dan. Dan's here. We have Emily here, Jonathan's here, and Mary's here. Hello, everyone.
Hello?
Hi, Bill.
So where did we leave
Hey,
this
Mary.
last time? We left off.
Oh.
Last time we left off on this project, where do we stand?
I think we're in process of retaining Emily to do a peer review. We defined the scope. I think that's been taken care of. Hi, Em. And I think, Dan, have you delivered the peer review retainer to the town yet?
It was put in the mail yesterday and was supposed to have arrived today, was our understanding.
Okay.
I don't
So
know
I think,
from that.
excuse me,
That's
go ahead,
correct.
Dan.
Mary, do you know if we can confirm that?
I'll check.
I did see something in the mail on the
Oh.
email system from Dan. There was a check. It was 2,000?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I did see that check.
All right, good.
So it came in, and I believe Kathy Leonard had sent it to us, so we do have that.
Great, thanks, Ed.
And I think the way we're going to handle this, Emily has budgeted X number of hours for the project. So she and I and whomever else would like to participate will kind of, we want to pick the important areas to review. We don't want to review every square foot of the project. We want to pick and choose the ones that make a lot of sense.
Yep.
Emily, any opinion on your side?
No, I think that you articulated that well, Bill. The commission gave us a pretty defined scope last week, and so we were able to turn around a proposal based on that. It sounds like the funds have been received. I believe the only thing that my office needs is a signed authorization to proceed from the Concom bill. I don't think that came in yet on this one.
Okay, I'll get something to you tomorrow on that, Emily.
And then the next step would be to schedule to get boots on the ground, hopefully sooner rather than later, it being December.
Right, right. Now, have you done any office review at all on this project?
Only the cursory review that we did to prepare the proposal. We'll really roll up our sleeves once we have the authorization to begin.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, that's where we stand. I know Mary and Dan that everyone would like to move as fast as possible on this. We're pedaling as quickly as we can. Sometimes it's not fast enough, but please bear with us.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
is
Thank
it possible to share the scope so that we understand what Emily's going to be engaged in? Or did you use verbally, or is there a whole write-up on that? Or
Emily, if you could just maybe read a paragraph from your RFP, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah,
it's
sure.
easy.
I assume that it was provided when asked for the funds. Hold on, let me bring that up. So as far as the field work goes, the commission requested that we estimate a maximum of 10 hours, including travel, to go out to the site and review the project area and delineated BVW boundaries within areas to be specified by the Granby Conservation Commission. And then the materials review was limited to the review of the proposed mitigation for tree work and other unavoidable
Okay.
activities within BVW and riverfront area.
Those 2 items, it's great.
And then
Yeah.
the right reflect those 2 items.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the key is going to be, we'll have to do a little bit of office work, just looking at some mapping, looking at some overlays to see exactly which particular sites might be of the greatest benefit to everybody to review. Okay.
Okay. And so do you have an idea, like in the next, like you come up with that idea already? Do you have an idea where you want to look, or?
I think we're going to start making that decision in the next week, Dan.
Okay. Thanks, Bill.
Yeah. And then hopefully, Emily, we'll get out there in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and be great to wrap this up by the end of the year. Again, with the holidays, it's kind of tough, but we'll do our best. Okay?
Yeah, I would like all parties to be aware that currently I do have flexibility next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and it's going to get gobbled up very quickly. So if any of those dates work for any of the parties involved, I'd encourage you to get me the authorization to proceed, and let's pencil something in.
We'll have someone available every day if you need it.
Bill, would it be
We're here to facilitate.
You aim to please. That's the way you should be to your client.
Yeah, we
That's
have to
good.
be. If this, everyone's,
Of
we're,
course, of
everyone's
course.
backs against the wall with the weather. So
Of
yeah,
course,
we want to
of
help
course.
out and as best
Of
we
course.
can.
Thank you. Thank you for facilitating.
Bill, would it be helpful if we provided a suggested list of structures to look at or areas to look at, or?
I think we're going to make that decision, Mary.
Okay.
Thank you for your
All right.
offer. I think we're going to do that.
Okay.
So, Ed, I think that's where we're going to go. And I would recommend that we continue this, obviously, until January 12th.
Okay.
And actually, Mary, if you do want to send a list of suggested structures, it'll give us an idea, like a starting point. If we, we won't use it as our guiding list, but maybe I'll use it to like peruse myself.
You could do
Does that make
that.
sense?
Of course, of course. Amanda, would you like to go in the field with Emily when she's here? Do you have time?
Possibly. It's going to depend on if I start a new job soon.
Okay, okay,
I
okay,
have 2 jobs that are like
okay,
I'm
fair enough.
going through the process right now.
I got it. I got it.
So just to reiterate the scope, I anticipate that we'll be spending a day in the field, and I'd be happy to provide my cell phone number to the commission. So if at any time during whatever day you have availability and want to find out where we are exactly, you can simply call or text me.
Awesome.
Excellent, thank you. Okay. All right, so I guess I move we continue this till 12 January 2021.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you all for
Thanks,
your time.
Emily, stick around. You're on board for the one of the other cases here.
Yes, I will stick around.
Actually, it's the next case.
Yes.
Item is a continuation of notice of intent filed by Nathan Booton for proposed driveway culvert with regards to property located on Center Street, known as map 8A-10 in the town of Granby. So let's start with this. I guess, Emily, you have been to the site and have started your peer review, and I saw you issued a letter, about a 4-page letter with regards to your findings. So do you want to present to the commission what you're basically in Cliff Notes, I guess, of where we stand with this project?
Sure. So I was able to get out on the site on November 11th. The applicant, Nathan, was able to spend essentially the entire day with me. Mr. Frederick, Mr. Brooks, and Mr. Shaheen were there for a portion of the day as their schedules allowed. So it was a pretty in-depth review. I think in a nutshell, the challenge with the site is the historical agricultural impacts require that the boundary of bordering vegetated wetland be established, really looking with a focus on soils and indicators of hydrology because of the impact to vegetation. So that was the methodology that we followed in doing our review. And what I observed was that there were, in fact, hydric soils or wetland soils within the agricultural field along, that front field. And I should pause there. Are all the commissioners familiar with where this property is located? I know this has been a continued NOI, so you probably got the spiel a month ago or so.
I'm not.
David's probably not.
I know it's on Center Street, but I don't know the number of the address.
So it looks to be that it's sort of to the southeast of number 25 Center Street. And I don't know how to share a screen with this, or I sort of give you a.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have that capability.
Yes.
I'm on Google Maps, so that's how I do it.
David?
Yes, sir.
No, I was just going to say there's a perennial stream that runs north-south. It's actually the headwaters of Muddy Brook.
Okay.
Is in that general area. There's some dispute whether or not it's perennial at one point versus another based on some geologic mapping. But the bottom line is there is a running waterway that runs north-south with a BVW bordering vegetated wetland and a wet meadow, which has historically been used as an agricultural field. Sure. And the challenge for Emily, as she said, was determining the lateral extent of the hydric soils, which is the prime marker for jurisdictional wetland. So right. That was her charge, and she did a fine job of it. Go ahead, Em.
Yeah, so with our findings report, we were able to provide a graphic to assist the commission with their review and also the applicant and his representative in moving forward with the next step. Because in our opinion, we did positively identify areas of wet meadow, BVW, and actually a section of newly mowed shrub swamp that have yet to be delineated on the property. And it is our recommendation that those areas be delineated with a soils-based approach in compliance with both our state regulations and the Regional Army Corps methodology.
Now, logistically, Kevin, are you there? Don, could you open your mic, please?
Sure.
Oh, hi. And I guess Nathan's here as well. Good evening, Nathan. Don, I think logistically, Emily is serving as the peer reviewer to the commission. So I think, Emily, and tell me if this is wrong, it's up to Don and your team to redelineate in accordance with the approach required or suggested by Emily, and then she will go back and re-verify. So it's kind of an iterative system. Is that what you intend, Emily?
Yeah, that's a correct summary of how the process works. So the applicant is responsible for making sure that all wetlands on the property within the project area are delineated. And then the commission and the peer reviewer have the responsibility of reviewing that delineation.
Okay. Now, of course, the problem with that is your original budget. Where are you in terms of your original budget, Emily? How many hours left do you have at this point?
I would have to circle back, but I think I would have to circle back on the number of days that we allotted.
Okay.
Whether we had given ourselves enough for a follow-up review.
Okay, so you may need a refreshment of your retainer then. That's essentially what you may need.
We may. We did spend, as Nathan can attest, a full day out there trying to beat the rain on the 11th.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So Dawn, do you think you and Kevin and Nathan can get that together in the next 30 days or so?
Well, I would have to defer to Kevin, obviously, because he's the wetlands expert. I don't know. He had already delineated this once, so I'm assuming he thought he had the line down. But in light of this new information, I'm sure he's going to have to review it all.
Okay, Amanda?
I can say that when I was on the site with Mr. Brooks before he left for the day, we did have an opportunity to look at the mowed shrub swamp within the northwest portion of the property. And at that time, he concurred that it was a wetland, but it was outside of the area. I believe, and I hate to speak for Mr. Brooks, I'm sure he'll chime in. I recall that he said it was outside the original area he was asked to look at.
Thank you. Ed, Amanda, any comments?
Well, this is definitely a complicated site. It's not an easy determination. So
it's not garden variety, as they say.
No, far from it. That's it's been mowed over so many times with farming activity that, you know, if it probably never been farmed, that you'd have to wonder whether the whole site was wet at one point. At this point, everything is funneled through there at one point. All the watershed heads in that direction. So, I guess we're going to continue this to our next meeting. If the applicant, we can certainly extend the next meeting to that. So, I'd put a motion out there to continue the meeting. Unless, does the applicant have anything else to say, or anybody else out in the meeting?
Yeah, I got a couple quick questions. So with all this new wetland proposed areas and all this other boundaries and stuff, so if I can't use the property or the so-called wetlands and meadows and all this, does that mean all the abutters don't get to use it either? Because there's quite a bit of it that are all abutting the neighbors' properties, which if you're calling it wetlands for me, and I have to then abide by all the setbacks, to me, all the neighbors should have to abide by the same setbacks, which would move quite a bit of all the people on Center Street. A lot of their yard waste and sheds and all that would all have to be moved outside the buffer zone. So I know one septic is very close to the swamp in the northwest corner, I believe. I know there's a manure pile right along Muddy Brook that is very close. Yeah, and then there's a project that was right behind mine. I believe he's putting a garage and a pool shed. I didn't see any wetland flags when I went back. I mean, we were just kind of roaming the property for, you know, hunting and stuff. I didn't notice that he had any wetland flags anywhere near his proposed project, but yet we are kind of nitpicking my project very close with a magnifying glass. So I'm just kind of confused on what's really going on here.
You know, Amanda or Bill can chime in, Dave, if you have any knowledge. But typically, the whole farming activity is usually grandfathered. But once the farming activity ceases, then you lose your grandfathering. So if we have people are storing, you know, activities that, you know, horse manure, cow manure in a near a resource area, hopefully not in a resource area, that, you know, that's been going on for so many years. It's a farming activity. I don't think this has been in your activity has been farmed for quite some time.
And again, this is a new construction project. You got to remember, this is a new build out.
With respect to the project to the north, I believe you're referring to Lee Lalonde, who did file what's called an RDA. We as a commission went out there and looked at it. The garage was being placed on an existing lawn that was high and dry. That property had been previously filed, or they have filed in the past, for I believe it was an NOI to construct either the house to the north of that or Lee Lalonde's house, I forget. which house was. But at any rate, that did come under a notice of intent, so the wetlands had to be at one point. The wetlands were there. Wetlands are on the other side of the stone wall in the wooded area. So I went out to the site, observed where the garage was going. It was on the grass, and it was not in a resource area, per se. So conversion of a lawn to a structure is a little less stringent, if you will, than what you're proposing. So that's just like the cliff notes on that one. So, I mean, I'm sure there's activities going on all in town that are in violation of certain acts of the wetlands protection. So, but right now we're presenting your project is before us under a notice of intent. So that's what we're acting on, is what's presented to us right now.
That's exactly right. Amanda, any other comments?
No, I think Ed covered it all really well.
Very good. Okay, so Dawn, again, I think Kevin, I don't see Kevin online at this point, but I think Emily has stated her opinion. Oh, there's Nancy. Is Kevin about?
Yes, he is. Hold on. He's right here.
Okay, thank you.
So in hindsight, we have to redo all of the wetland boundaries from what I've gathered from looking at the email I got today and this meeting.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Kevin and Emily interact as soon as Kevin sits down here. Emily, approximately how many flags do you find that are need to be modified?
There are at least 2, if not 3, entire new areas that need flags.
Oh, okay,
As far
okay.
as existing flags that should be revisited, I saw both hydrophytic vegetation and hydric soil westward of some of the flagging in the southeast corner. Some of the westerly flagging, my comment was just that the flags are not shown on the site plan, and the labels were faded in the field. So actually Nathan and I both took a look at those, and those should really be added to the site plan for the commission's consideration.
Just a point of clarification. We really didn't flag on that west side.
Yes.
To the north, that was never flagged. We put 5 flags just south of that, just north of the neighbors there, but we didn't get into that last area where I saw you when I left that other day. That was never flagged. And that's fine.
If I may through the chair, Bill?
Yeah, go ahead.
So
Let me
there's
just make a comment to Kev. Kev, did you receive the paperwork from this afternoon?
Yeah, I just got it.
Okay, because I think what Emily's asking is that you'll be responsible for reflagging in accordance with her criterion, and then she's going to come down and re-review. So it's kind of an iterative process.
Okay. Now you
Are you okay with
understand that my work out there was done for the former estate. So I've got to be hired by Sherman and Fredericks to do anything out there, or by Nate Boot. So
yeah, so that's between you and Donnie and Nathan. And then once you agree to do that, you can notify the commission, and the commission can work with Emily to re-coordinate her going out there. And again, it might require some more funds going into the kitty for peer review. But again, that's something to be addressed after you make a decision how you're going to go forward, okay?
Yep, I understand.
Okay. Emily, any other comments?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay, Don, anything?
I'm all set.
Ed?
I'm good here.
Okay, Amanda?
Nope, all set.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I guess we're going to continue this until the 12th of January.
Duly noted.
Okay, I move to continue. Second?
Second here.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, guys, thank you. Thanks for bearing with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to,
Emily, thank you for attending tonight.
Yes, if I may, I don't want to interrupt Ed,
No,
but
go ahead.
we hadn't included attendance for the project with Dakota Richards, but I do know that's number 9 on the agenda, and you have my findings report.
Okay.
I didn't know if the commission wanted me to stick around for that.
Okay, of course. Please,
Okay.
thank you.
order. Let me just go through this real quick. I started. Item 7, John P. DeCruz, Esquire from Munson Ridge. This is regards to the covenant.
That's the conservation restriction.
Which we signed, or I signed, and Amanda signed back in, looks like September or October. So it keeps getting put on the agenda, but the problem is that it's got to be notarized. And I still need Bill and I still need Patty or Linda to sign it, and it still needs to be notarized. So the
Didn't
problem
I
is
sign it electronically?
you did not that I'm aware of. I have not seen it.
Okay, if you could forward me the document and I'll sign it electronically, at least that will take one item off the table there. Be happy to do that.
Amanda, you taking on your notes, can you make a note for in the minutes that this item has been signed?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Sure. The covenants or the deed restriction, the conservation restriction for Munson Ridge, Phase 2. We've already signed this document, but the conservation restriction, we still need at least 2 more commissioners, which we're missing Bill, Patty, and Wenda sign. So if we can get them to sign,
Not just one?
it's got a place for all our signatures.
Okay.
So it's on the document. So if we can get that somehow, Kathy, to either send it to each person with a return envelope. I've got it. Item number 8, continued notice of intent for Mike Peel, PC Development LLC. Is there anybody out there for Mike Peel, PC Development?
Well, Don Frederick would have been and he left, so apparently not.
This is Phase 2. It's still not before us, so I'm going to make a motion to continue.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Let's go to item number 9, continuation notice of intent filed by Dakota Richards, DPR Legacy Enterprise, Inc. for proposed construction of a single-family dwelling with detached barn and lawn associated grading in the buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland with regards to property located at 163 Burnett Street, map 1B in the town. You were out there, did a sort of a peer review, and your findings, please. I did see your letter, so.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I didn't really want to do any work.
Hi, Ed. I lost you a little bit there. Are you asking me to summarize my site visit?
Yes, please.
No, there's a question there. It's not up to them. I was hired former owner.
Kevin, can you shut your mic
Kevin's
off?
got to mute his microphone.
Hi, Kevin?
Okay, I'm muting it.
Oh, yeah, Kevin's part of this project, so it's Kevin, Neil, and Emily on this one.
That's right. You're correct. Sorry about that, Kevin. I thought you were not part of this. Sorry. Go ahead, Emily. I apologize.
Yeah, so we were actually able to spend a beautiful afternoon in Granby back on the 4th and took a look at the wetland boundary that Mr. Brooks had flagged. Basically, there were 3 wetland flags that were placed on the subject lot to demarcate the BVW, which does cross over into the property. Because the property has recently been cleared, and this clearing does include that section of BVW as well as buffer zone, we couldn't rely on vegetation for the delineation, so we had to focus again on an assessment of soils. In this case, I hand dug 4 soil pits on the outside perimeter of Mr. Brooks' delineation to evaluate the soils, and they were all non-hydric or upland soils. So I concur with the flagging that he placed. I believe it's flags W1, W2, and W3.
Yep.
There were also some suspicious areas along the cleared slope where there was some weeping and saturation. So I wanted to take a look at the soils there. Again, did some hand digging, and those soils were also upland. So we hypothesized that the hydrology that I observed was just because of time of year and the recent land cover change. So in conclusion, in the report, we concurred with the delineation, but we did encourage the commission to consider both wetland restoration as well as inner buffer zone restoration as part of any order. And we also wanted to bring to your attention that the wetland complex does extend off the property to, I believe it would be the south and the east. And so it's likely that there is additional buffer zone on the property, but it's projecting in from wetlands off of the property.
Correct, I saw that too in my.
Yeah. And that's exactly right. You know, you barely get over the line and you got more wetland that goes east and west, and then finally it fades over to the north. So, and there are some additional flags out there, but Emily's right on in that assessment.
Okay. Any other commissioners have any questions for Emily?
I had a question for Neil. Neil, is Mr. Campagna involved in this?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to have to recuse myself then for the same reason as earlier, so I'm going to close down here.
Amanda?
I do not have any additional questions.
So I really don't have any other questions or comments. I did notice that you had pointed out some areas, Emily, that were disturbed on the south side, if you will, or where the wetland flags, because they did clear the lot pretty good. They cleared most, all the way up the property line, if not a little more. So like W23 and W23 are pretty close. I think they went into it a little, is what you said in your report, Emily.
Yeah. So so that's just where I think there might be more several or a couple versions of site plans. The site plan that I saw only has 3 wetland flags on it, and they're labeled 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, the one I have here is a septic plan that does show each wetland flag is labeled W23. W23. There's 3 of them on the plan. They're on the south side or the left side of the plan.
So in the field, they're marked as 1, 2, and 3, and you're absolutely correct. Nearly the entire lot has been cleared, and that includes the wetlands as well as the 100-foot buffer zone within the property.
So your recommendation was that it going to be under an enforcement order or a restoration?
I believe the commission has the option of choosing how they want to proceed. It's my understanding that you have the authority to list it as a condition if you are going to issue an approving order of conditions. my recommendation is, in that case, is that you make it your first condition and make it a requirement that the restoration be done before any other work associated with the single family development. So the first thing they'd have to do essentially is plant in the wetlands and the buffer zone where the commission wanted replanting.
So are we out of the growing season right now for restoration?
Yes, we are out of the growing season. And although we do sometimes entertain late fall plantings, I wouldn't necessarily recommend planting this time of year. So if the intent was to start work sooner rather than later, the commission could consider that the timing be allowed for as soon as possible during the growing season of 2021.
Yeah, I would think that to get the project started, if we made that a condition as the first condition to restore it, they wouldn't start till next summer, which I don't think is, I don't think that's what the commission wants to do. I think we could issue the order of conditions with, like you said, the restoration of the disturbed wetlands and a portion of the buffer zone, if you will, because the clearing of all the entire site is probably a little aggressive. Because I was out there myself and it did look a little aggressive. So
Also, when was it cleared? Do we know when it was cleared?
I do not, Mr. Dakota, or
About 2 years or so.
who's that, Neil?
Oh, okay. That was a while ago.
No, Ed, I'm here. Dakota's here.
Oh, hi Dakota, how are you?
Good, how are you?
But how long ago was it cleared?
About 2 years ago.
Really? It looks clean, it looks
So
fresher.
there was some recent stuff done, but it originally started 2 years ago.
Okay. Well, from my observation, I would say it was more recent. It may have been partially 2 years ago, but let's consider it's probably that sometime this summer it was cleared. Is my guess, or the final cleaning, if you will. So Amanda, as far as I think issuing an order of conditions, I think we could do something to that effect. As far as the restoration, I don't know if I want to do it under enforcement order right now, because if we do it under the order of conditions, you can't get a certificate of compliance until the order of conditions has been satisfied. So, which is kind of I guess we could do if we're gonna do a 3-year growing season of vegetation that's been disturbed, you may want to sell it between now and that 3 years out. So we can do a partial release, I'm guessing, but I'm not sure if a bank would accept that. I don't know, Amanda, what are your thoughts on this as far as, do you want to do it as a order of conditions, or do you want to look at order of conditions with an enforcement order coming down, or?
You were kind of going in and out, but I think that it would be best to just do it as an order of conditions. But I agree with Emily that it should be one of like the first things done before other work is done, because just having those areas, having them have been cleared when we're still figuring out where the wetlands are and everything. I don't know, I'm just a little unsure about things. So lots of times projects leave the restoration till last, and then they run out of money, or it doesn't happen thoroughly. So I would rather have the restoration activities happen first, and then the project be completed.
At least initiate the restoration, at least. They can do it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be completed, but like that effort should be put in initially.
That's fine. I agree with that. If you want to start, and then concurrently they can start other things on the project, but
Exactly, and they'll be protecting the restoration area with the silt fence and all that, as per usual.
So, Dakota, do you have any comments, questions?
No, I'd be happy to start that restoration project as soon as we can in the spring or during growing season to expedite that process, or now or whenever you.
Well, the
I just
condition,
don't, whatever we choose to do or you choose to do, I would rather hope it wouldn't hold up the building and the process to move forward. I would put any effort forward, if not all, to do whatever I need to do to keep the project moving forward.
all right,
After all, it's
Neil,
been 4 months and we're still here.
septic, you're doing septic, Neil?
What's that?
Neil, you're doing the septic system, correct?
Yes.
Okay, any questions, comments, or concerns?
Nope. No. The Board of
David?
Health approved pending
Board
their
of Health
approval.
is, excellent, very good. David Dissolette, do you have any questions?
None from my end, not right now.
Okay. So I'm gonna make a motion to close the public hearing.
A second?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So I need a motion, Amanda, I need a motion to approve with conditions, and do we need to do the conditions now, or can we sit on it?
I guess it depends on how soon they want to start doing stuff, timeline wise.
Well, we know the standard order of conditions are going to be erosion control installed, 72-hour notice before construction. But the biggest one's going to be the restoration, or at least initiation of the restoration.
I guess another option we could do is we could have like a permanent markers put in where the marking where the restoration area will be, to kind of like close that off as areas not to be disturbed in the future. And then hopefully some stuff will start growing back. And then in the spring, when it's planting season, they can kind of go through and add stuff as needed to make it a full restoration.
So how far out from the wetlands do you want to install those monuments? You want to go 25 feet out? No.
I think that comes back to us with our just permitting and NOI. Like, do we want to make it the 100-foot buffer, or do we want to make it 25 feet, 50 feet? Like, what do we want?
Well, the project shows a barn in the 100-foot buffer zone.
Okay.
The silt fence is just about at the 50-foot buffer zone. So we could say the 50-foot buffer zone, or the 2 feet behind the silt fence as shown on the plan shall be monumented every 5 feet along the wetland, along the conservation boundary.
Sorry, I couldn't hear what you said. Did you say the 50-foot or 25?
So on the 50-foot buffer zone is the silt fence, just it touches at one point, but the silt fence also meanders up towards the 100-foot buffer zone at one point. So I think the 50-foot buffer zone, at least on that wetland, should be considered a conservation restriction. Now the problem comes into being on the east side, there's wetlands that weren't delineated. So the 50-foot buffer zone that's shown on the plan may accurately depict that wetland, but you may have wetlands further to the east that are not depicted. And that if you want to rope those into a conservation easement too.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way. We're not going to be writing the order of conditions tonight. It's just not going to happen. But we should kind of iron out the special conditions.
I think the 50-foot buffer does sound like a good benchmark. And maybe we could let them mull that over for a bit and make sure that there's I don't know, there isn't some extreme reason why that would impair their use of the barn or something like that?
It
Maybe
should.
negotiate something?
Because the 50-foot buffer, according to the wetlands depicted right now, are what I think what you need to really look at is the easterly boundary, even though it wasn't delineated. And there's, once you
Yeah.
come to the corner, it turns into a pine forest, and then it goes into a wetland area. So
Yeah.
you either do the same thing and say, look, anything 50 feet from wetland marker 23 as shown in the plan along the southerly boundary, and then along the easterly boundary, 50 feet there from any wetlands shall be a no disturb conservation area. So marked with either concrete mounds or some type of permanent monument that's easily visible to anyone who is owner of that property.
My only concern is that if it's not already delineated, having that become another issue of having to delineate those where the 50-foot is in those other spaces, or if it's off the property, it's like, how do we do that?
Okay, well, that's fine. We can then go ahead and just, if you want to just go ahead and say this area as depicted on the plan, 50 feet therefrom, no disturbance, and shall be monumented with concrete bounds every 25 feet linearly along the 50-foot buffer zone. We should try that, and then at least you've delineated and monumented that one wetland area, and now that's in conservation restriction or preservation, if you will. Want to do it that way,
Yeah.
Amanda? And don't worry about the easterly side?
Well, I was just raising, possible considerations. I'm not 100% sure. Did you want to have this all nailed out tonight? Or were we going to finish typing it up?
Without the special conditions on the meeting tonight, we're gonna just have to talk about it at the next meeting. And then they're already another month behind schedule.
Okay, so we are going to try and do it tonight.
Well, we're not gonna type it out tonight, but we should have the special conditions at least discussed and noted in the minutes. So therefore, we can do it in the order of conditions under our special conditions.
Okay.
We already know that the silt fence needs to be installed, inspected prior to construction. We already know that a restoration plan needs to be in place or implemented for the disturbed areas. Let's call it the 50-foot buffer zone shall be restored along with the vegetated wetland.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
So, special condition might be no invasive species. If invasive species are within the 50-foot buffer zone or the vegetated wetland, that they should be removed.
I haven't seen the area, so I don't know if it's a heavily invasive wetland area where it might be a pointless exercise to try and make that a permanent condition.
Well, it's pretty much clear cut the whole area. So whatever's there is gone. It looks like there's a bunch of slash that's been left on the ground. So it's pretty much a clean.
If it's abutting an area with a lot of invasives, those invasives are just going to keep coming in.
No, it appears to be that way. Yes. To the south, it looks. Emily, did you see a lot of invasive species to the south? That wetland? I don't think she can. Yeah, it looks like there's wetlands, invasive species to the south, but definitely try. So Amanda, you're saying not to put the invasive species, just deal with it as or restore to its original condition, or its natural state?
Yeah, I mean, I hope they're not planting invasive species, but I don't think we should make it a condition that they have to control it.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes it's just not possible.
So would that be on the special conditions and also a certificate of compliance within completion of the project? Whatever the standard is.
Is anyone else having a hard time hearing?
Yeah, every now and then I get this static. There's a static coming through.
I
think it's
coming
Kevin's
from Kevin's
microphone.
mic. I'm gonna mute myself.
Thank you. So, special conditions, Amanda, standard ones, and then we're gonna talk about the restoration and monumentation of the 50-foot buffer zone. Every 25 feet, a concrete monument along the 50-foot buffer zone linearly. A plan shall be provided to the Conservation Commission. I don't know if we want to have the plan recorded at the Registry of Deeds to memorialize it. Amanda?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Also. So we're looking to memorialize the plan at the Registry of Deeds. Are we asking that the deed out reflect the conservation easement on the deed so that the future owner will know that there's a restriction on that corner?
I'm not sure how to do that.
Okay.
Just because I've noticed
So
things get
basically,
lost often.
I'm sorry, Amanda, go ahead.
I've noticed these kinds of restrictions get kind of lost in the paperwork. And
They do. Yeah.
so I wasn't sure how to actually document it to show it, unless it's on the plan set for the last project done. So like if we put it on as-built plans.
You can do it under an as-built plan that gets recorded at the Registry of Deeds, or you can record before the as-built just the monumentation where it was placed.
Okay.
We can do either way. We can just say that plan shall be recorded at the Registry of Deeds depicting the monuments and the conservation restricted area.
Okay.
And I think the last thing would be a certificate of compliance, or actually we're looking for 3 growing years for the restoration. Typically.
Yes, but it depends on how quickly it goes. It might bounce back. If it was just like cleared and they plant some stuff, there could be a lot of seeds in there.
Understood. Yeah. So so a minimum of 1 growing year.
Yeah.
At minimum,
yeah, that
at
seems
max.
reasonable.
I'm
That seems
sorry.
reasonable.
Sure. Minimum of 1 year, maybe at the discretion of conservation if we need to go further out for 2 or 3 years at the most.
Yeah.
Or just okay. And I guess the last item will be the certificate of compliance. Dakota, does that sound reasonable to you as far as the request?
Just so I'm clear, the current silt fence is our boundary line we're speaking of?
No, we picked the 50-foot buffer zone as depicted on the plan. The silt fence goes beyond the 50-foot buffer zone, so that would be more restrictive. We decided that the 50-foot buffer zone would be the limit of the wetland conservation area.
So it's going to be smaller than the current silt fence installed.
I don't know if the silt fence is at 50 feet. I don't know. We're talking about what the plan is depicted. So if the silt fence is closer than 50 feet, then the silt fence is incorrect.
Kevin, Emily, input?
Well, hold on.
So technically, the public hearing is closed.
Yeah, we're closed right now. I really shouldn't be talking to you about it. So we can give you directions later, Dakota, all right? So we already we closed the public hearing, we made the decision, and now we're just doing the special conditions. We'll explain them to you later. They're, in my opinion, they're pretty reasonable. And I think Amanda would agree they're reasonable.
Yeah, I have no problems. Like I said, I have no
Okay.
objection.
Mr. Chairman, we should probably have something in writing, so there's no
We will
question.
get that. We
Okay.
will get together.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen tonight. We're just discussing the special
All right.
conditions so that everybody knows what's coming down the pike.
Exactly.
There's no surprise. So the monumentation will probably be concrete bounds, something that's permanent. They'll probably be sticking up 1 foot above the ground. So it'll be clearly visible to everybody. So, but we'll put that together in the order of conditions with the special conditions. So on the special conditions, do we want to make, does anybody want to make a motion on that? Amanda, as crafted? Well, I'll make a motion. I'm going to make a motion to approve the, or the notice of intent with special conditions as discussed.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. All right, motion carries. So we'll get that together, Dakota, and we'll try to get that put out for the next meeting or sooner if we, actually we can't do it sooner. So we'll put it together. Basically, the project's approved, but we need to do the order of conditions. And we're lacking in staff at this time. And we're already at 9:13. I've got two more to go on tonight, so.
So we're gonna have it before or at the next meeting?
My hope is to have it at the next meeting because there's no way I'm gonna have that typed up tonight and signed.
Is it safe to say we can move ahead with what we've, obviously, we have to wait till we have that in hand?
Let me talk to the building inspector. I think the activity, well, wait a minute, we talked about it's sort of like an enforcement order. So let's hold your horses till we get this order of conditions typed up. Because there are some underlying issues with the violations and clear cutting. So you moved a little too fast in the first. So let's get the order of conditions together and we'll try to get it to you ASAP. That's the best we can do. All right.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to the next meeting. Next item on the agenda. Which one are we at? That one's there. I've got a continuation of an RDA filed by Ashley Bowman, applicant, to see whether the area work depicted on plans and/or maps referenced are subject to Wetlands Protection Act property located at Bachelor Street, known as Lot 6, Plan Book 244, page 205, Town of Granby. This one, RDA Ashley Bowman. Any applicant, is anyone representative Ashley Bowman? Anyone? Okay, this is the same one we've had before us, and the applicant has not gained any of the meetings, I believe.
Ed, what is this, a septic repair or a new house?
Bill, this is new construction.
Oh, new construction, okay.
New construction.
What's on Bachelor Street?
Yeah, it's the one up against Aldridge Lake. It came in the same time the other one for.
Okay, I know which one. It's near the power lines. I know where that is. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
There's an
Yeah, they were not here last time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
And I think, wasn't Alan Weiss involved with that?
No, he had some, Al knew about it and he had some comments.
Okay, all right, well, let's just continue it then.
This one here was pretty close. It wasn't close, but it was 88, maybe activity was within the buffer zone.
Okay.
900 feet.
There's nobody here for that. Let's just continue till January.
That's fine. I've got no problem with that. Continue that. Go out of order real quick. RDA filed by Joseph Dickinson to see whether the applicant lot 2 Amherst Street. Again, I think this was here last time.
I think we approved that. We asked him to talk to Dave DeRocher regarding the culvert, which was actually out of our jurisdiction.
Yeah,
and I
we
think,
did.
did we sign off on that?
We signed off on this last time as a negative.
Yes. Yes.
All right, that was signed off last time. All right, back onto the list. Item 9. Again, they're all out of order, but
Well, there's actually 2 9s and 2 10s in our list, if you take a look.
numbering's a little goofy, but we can get through this. Approve, sign, renew 2019 through 2021 gravel permits.
I talked to Kathy about this, that she asserts we have not signed it, but I think all of us agree that we have signed it. So I don't know if
have been signed off on, correct.
Yep.
I'm gonna make, this is something we either need to have either somebody like Emily do it for us, come back and report to us what issues there are, if any, for the gravel permits, and then we can either sign off or not.
I agree. Hire a third-party person to do all this. We'll pay them out of our conservation fund. We have money available for that, and then we don't have to go out there. That makes good sense.
So we should look into that, ask the selectmen if we're okay to do that. I think we are. We can, like say, use our funds. Or can we use our funds?
Yes, that's technical consulting. We can use them for that. That's not a problem.
Okay. All right. Last one on the item here. We had some administrative duty stuff, but I am going to skip all that because we're already coming up on 9:20, and we probably will go into 9:30 on this last one, if not longer. So I am going to recuse myself and turn this over to Amanda. This property was formerly owned by Galusha, I believe, which I did all the surveying work for the Galushas back in the 90s. From the 1999, I believe, through 2015, before I think Mr. Galusha passed away. And when the person who just bought this property is my neighbor, they asked me to do the A&R subdivision for them, so I did. So I'm going to recuse myself completely from this. But I'll read it in, and then I'll let Amanda. Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
And Bill, out of necessity, you may need to stay on, but
Yeah. Let me just make a comment. Neil, Paul Campagna is involved on this, correct?
Yes, he is.
All right. Yeah, we're in a bit of a quandary now, because if we have Amanda, it would be Amanda. Of course, David wasn't involved, so I may come in under rule of necessity on this, but I think Amanda may have done a site visit and has some commentary. So go ahead, Ed.
And you know, I was a surveyor for the Galushas through the years, and so it's closer to the vest for me than I think anybody else on the commission right now. So I'll read it in. Continued, filed by Daniel Karpazny. Sorry if I mispronounced the name. For proposed construction of a single-family dwelling with lawn and associated grading within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. Regards to property located at 0 Phillips Street, known as Map 4B. 2.9, 11B in the town of Granby. With that being said, I'll recuse myself and I will sign off the air because that's the last thing on the agenda. And if Amanda, you could take over as the chair, acting chair, and you could close the meeting out when you're done.
Great.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good
Take
night.
care, Ed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I did go out to this site and it was similar to the Center Street project where it was old farmland and it was very close to a wetland area. And I was uncertain about that site and was interested in a peer reviewer to look at it like Emily did with the other tricky farm site. It's been traditional agriculture. Looking at it for developing it, we wanted to make sure we know exactly where the wetlands are before that begins. I don't know what else transpired since then, Bill.
Yeah, so, no, well done, Amanda. I know you did go out there last week. I guess based on that, Neil, it would make good sense to retain Emily once again to walk the site and work with you folks to resolve this.
Okay.
Kev, did you do the delineation? Kevin, I think Kevin did, didn't he?
Kevin did the delineation, yes.
Okay, okay. Again, it's another wet meadow. Wet meadows are tough sites.
Oh, this is the King property, formerly King property on the old farm over there.
Yeah, Galusha.
Not Galusha.
Yeah, this is right at the tip of Phillips Circle, right at the cul-de-sac at Phillips Circle.
Oh, that lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, so based on what Amanda saw in the field, I think it'd be prudent to bring Emily in to assist. Dave, any comments?
And on my side, I'm familiar with the old field, but you're right about wetlands. It's a tough one.
Okay. So Amanda, I guess that's going to be our recommendation based on your visual.
Yeah, I dug some soil pits, but I'm not that comfortable with trick sites like that, so I would want someone else to peer review it.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those red parent soil sites, so those are challenging to say the least. Okay, fair enough.
There was
So I
red
guess,
parent
Neil,
material there.
no, excuse me.
I don't think there was red parent material. You're thinking of Agawam.
Okay, actually, there is some red parent material on the ridge here on South Street, but we'll see.
Oh,
Again, yeah, but when Emily goes out there, we can accompany her if we'd like. That would be fine. So Neil, I guess that's the synopsis of how we'd like to proceed.
Okay, will you notify me when she's going out?
Yes, yeah, what I'll do is I'll start the paperwork. We're getting pretty good at doing this 4453G paperwork. I've got the forms they're like boilerplate forms at this point.
Yeah.
So I'll communicate with Emily. She'll take a look at some existing plans and aerial photos. She'll come up with a budget for the peer review. We'll get a budget number. The client will deliver the money to Stephen Nally at Town Hall under the 4453G escrow program. And Emily will get a green light and off we go.
Okay, and Kevin, can you actually go out there with Emily?
Yeah, I mean, it's been 10 years since I've been on that site, but it was pretty straightforward in that it was the bottom of the hill is where it was wet, and that turned into a stream that paralleled Phillips Circle.
Yeah,
I know there's a little swale that runs north-south there right up to Barton.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. And now it's 2 lots, so they've got 2 lots there now.
Yeah.
So we'll get this done.
Okay.
Okay, Neil, thank you, Kevin. Amanda, whatever your wishes are, fire away.
Did we have any other things to do before the end?
I guess we can close out our meeting. Neil, so we'd like to continue this until January 12th?
Yep, and you'll let me know when Amanda's going out and Kevin?
Yes, with Emily, of course. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All the best, thanks. Okay.